what you must realize as a parent is you need to let go. You need to let your child blossom. You need to let them be as different from you as possible. There is nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's natural for children eventually to rebel against their parents, to try and create their own identity in the world. In my book, Mastery, to me, the idea of becoming a master in any field, there's one secret, there's one step that is absolutely the most essential in all. That is discovering your life's task, discovering what you were meant to accomplish in life. If you figure that out, everything else will fall into place. And parents play a critical role in the development of their children. They can play a very negative role, and they can play a kind of neutral or more positive role in this sense of helping the child discover their life's task. And what I mean by that is it's very natural for parents to be worried about their child and to say, I want my son or daughter to be able to have a comfortable life, to make a good living, So these are professions that I naturally would gravitate towards. And maybe I'm thinking a little bit about them and about the world today, but I'm kind of putting onto them my own assumptions of what will make them comfortable and secure. And you apply pressure, and that pressure can be very overt. Like perhaps I had some in my childhood where I was like, you need to become a doctor or a lawyer. Or it can be less overt, where you kind of steer them in certain directions by the kind of games and activities you have them participate in when they're very, very young. And what you must realize as a parent is you need to let go. You need to let your child blossom. You need to let them be as different from you as possible. There is nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's natural for children eventually to rebel against their parents, to try and create their own identity in the world. That is an extremely healthy dynamic. So it's kind of like a plant that you want to foster and you want to grow in its most original natural form and not hinder it in any way. So by pressuring it directly or indirectly, you're creating a voice in that child's head. And that voice is going to be creating doubts as it gets older and older and older. It's going to be telling itself, well, maybe I shouldn't be so interested in this field. Maybe, music or the arts or entrepreneurship, maybe it's too risky. I was instilled with these levels of fear from my parents from very early on, and I'm still hearing it in my head. And unconsciously you have influenced them, and you're derailing them from that life's task. So that when a child reaches that critical age of 20, 21, 22, where they're out of this education system if they go to the university, and they have to make key decisions in their life, they're no longer connected to who they are as an individual. They're connected to your thoughts, to your fantasies, to your ideas of what they should become. And you're playing a very negative role in their life. So you have to understand the importance of those early years, where you let the child go in whatever direction it wants. In fact, when the child reveals a proclivity towards something, let's say you're an academic and you're intellectual and the child has a proclivity towards sports or dance or something, oh, no. You want to be the opposite. You want them to go in that direction because it reveals something extremely powerful from within. It reveals what I call primal inclinations. Do not get in the way of those primal inclinations in any way, shape, or form, because it'll have terrible consequences later on for the child. That's the most important thing you can do.
You don't just magically become great at parenting. It's a thing you get better at over time, one day at a time, one experience at a time. There's actually something the Stoics talk about. Seneca says try to find one thing a day, one quote, one story, one conversation, one video, if you're thinking about what's available today. The point is, find one thing that makes you better at being a parent every single day, and think about where you would end up if you could do that. That's what I'm trying to do as a parent of 2 young boys. But it's also what I try to do with Daily Dad. Every day I write one totally free email that goes out to thousands of people all over the world who are just like you, parents who are trying to get better at their most important job. And I'd love to have you join us. It's totally free, no spam, one email a day. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. And I hope you sign up at dailydad.com.